Hi everyone. So this is my first Flosstube video. I've done heaps of the videos for the Colour Cascade group, but I got a few requests to do Flosstube and just kind of focus on what I'm doing rather than the business is doing. So I thought that would be a fun idea. We'll see how it goes anyway. So I thought the first video could be the know your cross stitcher or know your needleworker tags and questions. So I'm going to answer them. Okay, so where do you live? I live in Perth in Western Australia. I'm originally from New South Wales, out in a little country town in the Hawkesbury, but I made the move about 10 years ago to pretty much give my kids a better life by the beach. It's a big move. It's like right across the other side of the country. I'd never been here before. It was a huge decision to make, but we're still here 10 years later and the kids have all grown up here and they love it. I don't think they could handle going back over to where we came from. I don't think they'd like it. So yeah, that's where I live. What do you do for a living? I own Colour Cascade Fabrics, so I hand dye fabrics for cross stitches and silk threads and have a little cross stitch store online. Do you have any other hobbies? I have a couple. I love reading, although I don't get to read as much as I'd like. And I don't want to say it's a hobby, but I have quite a lot of reptiles. So I have a snake, 3 lizards, yeah, and I want more. I love them. They're the best pets ever. They don't make noise. But books mainly would be my other hobby, and I think that's really, from the YouTube videos that I've watched, is a really common theme. We all love cross stitch and we all love to read. But I've gotten in the habit over probably the last 4 or 5 years of when I sit down of a night after everything's done, I cross stitch. Reading kind of doesn't happen anymore, although I still buy books. Though I did read the Slash biography, of course, within about 3 days. And I've currently got the Duff McKagan biography, the bass player from Guns N' Roses, on my bedside table. And I started reading that when I was sick. I spent a couple of days in bed, but I didn't get much of it read because I was just so sick. So I need to get back to that one. Do you have kids? I have 3. I have a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 15-year-old. So it's Rachel, Joel, and Amber. Do you have pets? I have lots of pets. I have 3 lizards. I think I said 2 before. I've got 3. I've got 2 bearded dragons, a frilled neck lizard, a snake. I have 3 birds, a galah, a cockatiel, and a budgie, and we have a dog. She's a pit bull, and you'll probably hear her barking because she's been going stupid all day because the house is next door is being built and the guys are on the roof at the moment putting the roof on, and she wants to eat them. Favorite movie? Oh dear. I would have to say I've got 2. One of them the Aussie girls will most likely know, and it's from the 80s and it's called Puberty Blues. I love that movie so much. It's so Sydney and I love it. I grew up around Sydney, not in the northern beaches though. I lived out in the country, but I loved that movie. I don't know, like, I've probably got heaps of favourite movies, but it's another thing that I don't do anymore. I don't watch movies anymore. I cross stitch. Even if I put a movie on, I wouldn't even be watching it. It'd be just noise in the background. But Puberty Blues, and that's a real Aussie thing, so I don't even know if anyone from overseas would even know what that's about. But if you can get hold of it and you want to see something really, really Aussie, get that movie. It's so funny. Favourite TV shows? Well, yeah, I love trash TV. Trashy TV. I love watching the Kardashians. I love the Real Housewives. All of them. Oh, I've never watched the New Jersey one though. I haven't ever watched that one. And I think, again, it's just something funny to watch while you're not really taking notice of what's going on. You're just watching it, and every now and then there's a cat fight and you've got to stop and go, oh my God, I love this, it's great. I can't really watch anything you have to concentrate on because I'm cross-stitching. I've got to concentrate on my cross-stitching. Favourite music, well, I think everyone that knows me knows that Guns N' Roses is my all-time favourite. Heavy metal, Black Sabbath. I love Led Zeppelin. I love old school rock and roll, like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Skid Row, Guns N' Roses. A lot of Aussie metal and hardcore, like not really hardcore, just more metal, like Screaming Jets, Grinspoon. I go and see bands all the time. My partner's in a band. They've actually played with some huge international acts that have come over. Punk. He's punk. And I don't like punk, but don't tell him that. I just pretend. Favourite books? Oh, God. Anne Rice, for sure. Anne Rice and Jean Yule. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. It's the Clan of the Cave Bear, the Earth's Children series. I freaking love those books, and I have reread the whole series about 3 times, and I've just started at the first book. Well, the last time I picked up a book other than a biography was Clan of the Cave Bear. I'm going to read them all again. I love them. I can't get enough of them. So if you haven't read that, and they're very old, they're not new books, I think they came out in the 60s before I was even born, and I love them. Yeah, Anne Rice, #1. Jean Yule. Jean Plaidy, who's another very old one. She writes a whole heap of novels based on all the kings and queens of Europe. I love her books. I love anything medieval. I love anything Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth I. I eat that stuff up. Philippa Gregory. I like her books. I know a lot of people don't. They're not meant to be factual. I think a lot of people think that for some reason they want factual books, but her books are novels. They're not meant to be factual. They're just based on characters in history, I guess. I love them. Love them. Alison Weir, who writes really good books about Henry VIII and Elizabeth and Anne Boleyn. They're just a few. One word best describes you. Okay, well, my partner said this the other day. I don't even know what I was doing. I can't remember. But he turned around to me and said, oh my God, you're so freaking ADHD. You cannot sit still. So I'm going to say ADD, because I can't sit still and just, other than when I'm cross-stitching or reading, I have to be doing something. Like, I can't just sit there and watch TV. I've got to, that's why I cross-stitch. My hands have got to be going. I get almost frantic before I go to bed. I have a whole routine, and it's an OCD thing or an ADD thing. I cannot just go to sleep. I'm like seriously like scrolling through Facebook to see what I've missed all day, because I don't really get, although it appears I'm on Facebook all day, I'm sitting in my business page all day, but I don't know what's going on the feed, so I miss so much, and I frantically go through it, and I'm like 1 o'clock in the morning. I finally get to sleep. I've got to stop doing that. So yeah, I'd say ADD. Who inspired you to Flosstube? I am going to say there's 2 people which I have watched I've watched every single one of Stitcherista. I hope I say that right, with the Aussie accent. Every single one of your videos, and I think you are hilarious. And in one of your videos, you actually asked if you were too much. No way, keep it up. I love it. I love it. And I think it's you. If that's you, that's who you are. People either like it or they don't. I love it. So good on you. and Tipsy Stitcher, who's a fellow Aussie, and I think you're hilarious as well. And I'm going to watch all of yours, but you've got a lot more to watch. I need to spend the time watching it, and as you know, I don't have a lot of time. But I'll get there. I'll get there. Favourite food? At the moment, Indian. In particular, korma, chicken korma. And Red Rock Deli salt, sea salt, and balsamic vinegar chips. I'm so addicted to them, I had to stop. Not even joking. I walk past them now in the supermarket. It's like a crack addiction. I have to stop. I gave up smoking 2 years ago, and I have always been like so skinny, like 48 kilos. I've never went over 50 kilos unless I was pregnant. I'm now about 58. That's from giving up smoking and from Red Rock Deli chips and Pepsi. So I'm giving them up. That's it. I hope. So there are all the questions. I know there's others out there, but I can't find them. I have to watch other videos to go through them and answer them. I'll do that another time maybe. Yeah, so that's the questions. So onto my stitching. I have something, but last count that I remember, between 25 and 30 whips. So I'm not going to show you all of them in one video. I'm going to show them as I am doing them each week in a video. But this video, just as an introduction, I'm going to show you 3. I'll just explain it as I'm showing them. This is what I'm working on this week. And if you watch my other videos that are on this channel from the weekly Facebook live feed, you'll know a bit about some of this. But if you haven't, I'm doing AAN, Alessandra Adelaide Needleworks, Femina in beads. Can you see that? It's all in, I think it's 42010 in the Mill Hill beads. And I'm using variegated thread with just the little shapes that are throughout the pattern, just to break it up a little bit. So that is what I'm working on this week. And that's pretty much one side of the breast part, I guess. And that's the very middle of the design. So yeah, this is pretty much going to be all in beads. And I'm just using plain black Jobelin, 28 count, over 2, obviously, because the beads won't fit over 1. So that is this week's whip. And I'm just going to see if you can see the needle minder. I've got that. It says, I don't give a fuck. And I got that from Melissa, I have to go on. I'll put the link down the bottom. And I'll just put Melissa in brackets so you know what I'm talking about. But she has some really cool needle minders that really suit me. Like I got that one, and there's another one like You Made My Shit List. Yeah, there's heaps of them. So I just change them out every week. I've got heaps of needle minders. I don't have as many as some of you. It hasn't quite become an addiction for me yet. But you never know. So that's this week's whip. I've got 2 others because I want to show you. This one in particular is, I have been challenged in my group on Facebook, the business group, or from one of the videos I did, because I showed all of my whips in one of the previous videos, all in one video. And I was challenged to finish this one. So I'm working on it every second week. So I'm just going to work on this one week and then one of my normal other whips in my rotation. Now that is Slash. Guns N' Roses, I love you. I'm going to see them in February. I almost convinced my partner to go to Sydney as well as Perth, but that's asking a bit much, I think. Well, it's not for me because I'd do it, but yeah, I think we'll just be staying in Perth, and I got really good tickets, so I'm hoping we're close enough. So that, I've been challenged to finish by the end of the year. It's not gonna happen unless I stitch on it constantly, and I can't do that. I can't. I've got to switch it every week. I've in such a habit of doing a rotation. I can't stay on one project for more than a week unless I'm really into it, which the next one I'm going to show you, only because it's not going to get shown for a while now because I stitched on it last week. So it is, I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way, which is Persephone by Mirabilia, and I'm beading this as I go, and it's the first one I haven't made a major mistake on. I've started a couple of mirrors, although I did have to unpick this about 3 or 4 times around her hand. I'm going to get out, see if we can get up close to the beads. There you go, all the beads. I'm just doing it as I go because I love beading. I love it. I know some people hate it and leave it to last, but I absolutely love beading. That's why I started a whole project with just beads. How could you not like it? It's awesome. So yeah, that one won't come out again for probably for a long time because I rotate weekly, and I've, like I said, I've got 25 to 30 whips. Some of them I have put aside because I want a finish, and I am close to finishing some of them, so I'm hoping to get a couple finishes by the end of the year, because I don't think I've had any finishes this whole year. I think I've started so many things that I haven't finished anything. So at least she's got a nice big chunk done. And I don't know if it's a Capricorn thing, but I'm very OCD and very strict when it comes to a rotation. I don't like to stray off my rotation. I go through Facebook at the end of the week because I've got all of my whips in a photo album in my personal page. So once I post that week's whip, I go down to the bottom, obviously the last one that hasn't been worked on for however long, and that's the next one I'll start. And that's been my plan for about a year now, and it's working really well. And I tried not to start too much stuff this year, which I've done okay at, although I did start all of the, well, not all of them, I've finished 2 of them and got another one going, and I will start all the others. Is the Nora Corbett Witches. So they're, yeah, I haven't been good at not starting stuff. Speaking of new starts, as much as I don't want to start new stuff, I have been hoarding some charts that I really like. I'm not going to go through all of these mirrors. I don't really have a big collection compared to some of you. Like, that's all I've got. There's just, what, 6 or 7? And these are just ones that I found. I try not to get too excited about them, but it's hard sometimes. But I've really picked the ones that I really, really like. So one that will get started is Stargazer. I'm sure you all seen that one. And I'll do her on a really dark fabric. I'm thinking maybe Into the Mystic by Colour Cascade Fabrics, or Sorcerer. So that's one that will get started. If you've seen my other video, you know that I want to do all of the Greek goddesses by Mirabilia. I've started Persephone and why do I lose my memory when camera's on? I can't. I've started another one. Got two going, but this is another one of the Greek goddesses. It's Lady Hera. Got a couple of mermaids. Some of the mermaids appeal to me, some of them not so much. And this one, Fairy Ideal. I saw that. Is it Ideal? Idol? I say Ideal. Ideal because of the double L, I don't know. But I finished one of this about 2 years ago, and I had to have it. So there are a couple of mirrors that will get started. Now these are designs that one of my customers asked me to get in for the shop, and when I saw them, they went into my rotation. This is called Something Wicked by La Di Da, and so back the front here. But yeah, it's because I got the phone upside down, I think. But that's one that will get started, and I love these because I think they're so simple and pretty. It's Timeless Wisdom by Stony Creek. Let's see if I turn that. It's still back to front. So that one. Another Stony Creek. I love this, and I know it's going to annoy me because it's all one colour, which I don't really like doing one colour. But I think this kind of has to be done in one colour and black. So there's that one, and that's by Stony Creek as well. And those of you who watch my other videos will know this one. It's Blackberry Lane, called Witch's Night Out, and it has about 4 or 5 different patterns in the booklet. So I'm going to do that banner. I really like it. I don't know why these are appealing to me so much. They're not my usual thing. I hate one colour, but these one colour ones are really appealing to me. I think it's just because I can actually see that I might finish them. Don't know. They'll go quick. They'll go really quick. And one of my designs from my shop, which I have wanted to start this one and get that glare out of the way since it came out, and every time I had a finish I was going to start it, but I always ended up picking up something else instead, which this is probably going to happen for another year or so. I can see myself starting those other designs before I start this. But this one is one of my favourites. So I want to do that. I want to do that one as well. I don't have any stash because I don't actually buy a lot of stash at the moment. Mainly because I haven't been starting anything new other than the Nora Corbett's, which is just Mill Hill beads and Chronic. That's about all you buy for them. So yeah, I don't have any stash to show. I need to start doing that. My daughter wanted me to order needle minders from Needle Minder Obsession from Christine. She's filled up the cart, so I've got to go and get that. So hopefully they'll come maybe by next time I do a video, and I'll start buying some stuff that I wouldn't normally buy. Like, I've watched some videos of you guys, and yous have taken me on a little trip around the internet to stuff I kind of heard of, but I'd never sat down and looked at their sites. Stitcherista, Clouds Factory. I had a look on there the other day, although there is 1 or 2 charts that appeal to me, which would be the Guns N' Roses and the Johnny Depp. My daughter liked the video game one. There's a video game one that they play. So she wants that. So that was good for her. yeah, I haven't really had much of a look around at people's websites for a long time. And that's mainly because I wanted to finish. I wanted to not start anything new and just concentrate on what I've got going on, because I'm getting bored with them all. And rather than just keep starting stuff, I need to start finishing, and then I won't feel so bad about starting. I know this is an age-old dilemma for all of us, but I'm really trying really hard. I do have some books that I bought on the weekend though. And my daughter said to me, Mum, why are you buying books you never read anymore? I was like, I don't know. I will one day, maybe. Maybe I will start reading again. But Philippa Gregory brought out a new book, Three Sisters, Three Queens. And it's about Catherine of Aragon, of course, and her sisters. So because it's Tudor related, Henry VIII, I had to have it. So, and I've got pretty much all of her books. So as she brings them out, I just buy them. And here was another author I mentioned, Alison Weir. Now her books are, they're not really novels. They're more factual, but written like a novel, where Philippa Gregory's books are based on famous people from the past, well, kings and queens mainly. There is, although there is a lot of fact in them, there's a lot of fiction in them as well, but Alison Weir, her books are based on fact. Though I haven't read anything of hers for a while, so she could have changed that now, and she could be doing, it might not be, it might be just all fiction and, I don't know, but it's called The Six Tudor Queens. And it's a novel. But I don't know how factual it is until I read it, because I'm pretty good with facts about the Tudors. And I nearly fell over when I saw this book, because anybody that reads knows Virginia Andrews. And we all know for the past 25 years her books have been coming out under V.C. Andrews, which is stuff she'd written before she died, but being edited or added to by, I think it's her son. If you remember the book My Sweet Audrina, and it just was a book on its own, and there was never anything after it. It was just an odd book out of between two series. There was a Flowers in the Attic series, and then there was the Dark Angel series, and I'm pretty sure My Sweet Audrina kind of sat in between those two on its own. Here it is. And it's not V.C. Andrews. It's Virginia Andrews. And it's the sequel to My Sweet Audrina. So I have to read it. So they're my finds this week. When I go anywhere near Big W, I go straight to the book section, because I don't go to the shops a lot anymore. And that's why, because when I do, I go stupid on books. But I'll read that one. And Anne Rice is bringing out a new book soon. There's a new Lestat book coming out. So anyone that loves Anne Rice and loves the vampire series, yeah, there's a new Lestat book coming out. And with Anne Rice, I love her Mayfair Witches. I actually think I like the Mayfair Witches series better than the vampire series. So if you haven't read them, oh my God, go and read them. And one of the books, it actually brings the both together. The vampires come into the witches books. It's really, really good. And yeah, so you got to get them. Well, I think that is it for my first Flosstube video. It's been about half an hour, which I think is pretty good, because my videos normally go for about an hour. So I will see you on the flip side, and next video will be when I change my rotation, I think, when I pull out another project, and I'm going to try and get some stash, and I'm going to try and not start something new, but I probably will. So I will see you then. Bye.